John, I'm gonna try to do it tomorrow night, or maybe if I have time, I do it tonight. But yeah, I do my best to post the solution to the exam as soon as possible. Okay, we're ready. Welcome back. Probably you already seen my email. The university has changed the date and the time of the exam. Now your exam is on the 11th, and it is from 3 to 4:50. Also, um, there is a change in the amount of time that you get. You only get 1 hour and 50 minutes. Um, I, well, let me answer a question here. So in homework in the past, before we had some changes, we had homework number 10 and homework number 11. So now I had combined homework number 10 and homework 11 into just homework number 10. And these are the problems that you have to solve. You have to combine the problems that I put in Blackboard before from homework number 10 and homework number 11. And these problems are due on Wednesday next week. So these are due on Wednesday next week. So it's not due on Monday. You had until midnight on Wednesday to submit. This is the last set of homework problems that I'm assigning. So I had combined number 10 and number 11 into the new number 10. So there's no problem 5, there's no problem 9. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yeah. All right. So I was saying that the exam had changed. Now it's on a Monday on the 11th, only hour and 50 minutes. The result of the exam number 2, as you know, were very disappointing, and they were terrible, they were bad, and it's not your fault. It's just the coronavirus fault. So what I'm going to do in the final exam, just want you to listen carefully. I'm going to give you a bonus. So the final exam is going to have 2 questions. One question that you're going to be able to get 100 points, and another question that is going to be a bonus. So I have not decided yet how much time I'm going to give you per problem. But probably I'm thinking that the problem that is worth 100 points, you're going to get more time. But definitely, I'm going to give you a bonus to try to help in the next exam. Any question before I continue? Okay, no question. Last time you said we all have 5 point bonus. We said, well, that was before we had all of this problem. Um, Normally, for our APE reaccreditation, we need to pick up on most of the courses binders with exam, homework problems, class notes. I don't know if this is going to happen. I was going to give you maximum 5 points in your final exam grade. For instance, if you would have gotten 90, I would have given you maximum 95. If you would have had 30, maximum of 35. But I need to double check with the department chair if we're going to do that this semester because everything has changed. Any other question? Well, in the final exam, everything that was not part of the second exam is going to be material of the final exam. Obviously, the best method to solve the problem is going to be moment distribution. But I do not tell you which method to select. You will select. But if I were you, I would use moment distribution. So you will take time away from us to work on problem one. That's worth 100 to force us to work on a bonus. We'll be able to get partial credit for the bonus, it does not seem like we get much partial credit. Well, look, it's not my fault that university has reduced the time that you have to solve the exam. If you don't want bonus, I won't give you a bonus. I give you the whole time to solve one problem if you want. So I just want the right now we had. Let me tell you how many people we had. Um, we had 37. Real quick, just if you want bonus, say yes. You don't want bonus, say no. Just type in there. Quick. They know it's winning. See. Okay, right. Stop. All right. So it's gonna be a bonus, but I don't know how I'm gonna uh, make sure that you spend a lot of time getting you 100 points. So I'm gonna try to figure something out. All right. Any other question? And incredible how no single no. All right. This table is very important for the final exam. And in the old times, we only had this side of the table. We only had this side of the table. We did not have the right-hand side portion of this table. So some of the very old exams, I use only the values on the left-hand side because we did not have access to this table. But the one that I want to show is this case. I want to show you this case because all the others can be worked or you can do the computation the same way that I'm going to do it for this one. This is a typical fix. Whenever we had a uniform load, the moment on the left is W squared over 12. The moment on the right is also W squared over 12. If we remove this wall in here, if we remove this wall and put a pin, means that there is no moment. If we remove this wall and this stays, this value is going to change. This value is going to be W squared over 8. I'm going to show you how to find this value. We can also leave this wall on and remove the wall. These are the cases that are not in the table. I'm going to show you the first one. I'm going to remove this wall and show you how to compute this value. We start with W squared over 12. The one on the left-hand side is negative. The one on the right-hand side, according to the sign convention, is positive. So this is what we want to obtain, the one on the bottom. A pin, no moment, and a moment at this wall. So what I did, I had this value here on the top that is plus WL squared over 12. It's in here. And I put a negative W squared over 12. That means that the moment is 0. Since I'm putting a negative W squared over 12 on this side, I need to send 50% of this value to the opposite side. That 50% is W squared over 12. So now in here, I had the original W squared over 12, and I had a negative W squared over 24. If you combine these two, it gives you a minus W squared over 8. I'm going to show you again. So we start with this. Negative on the left-hand side, positive right-hand side. We need to make this one 0 because we're going to change the support. So what we do here, to this positive value, we add an equal and opposite. It makes this moment equal to 0. But whatever moment we put on this side, the carry factor takes 50% across. So 50% of this is minus W squared over 24. Negative W squared over 12 and negative W squared over 24. Give me the negative W squared over 8. This is what they have in here. I'm going to do something different that is not in the table so you will know how to handle these cases. Now I'm going to release this side and leave this one fixed. So we're going to start with the same W squared over 12, negative on this side, positive on the opposite side. Fix, fix. I'm going to leave the wall on the right side, but I'm going to remove this. So what I'm going to do, since this is negative, I'm going to put a positive, equal and opposite. So the moment now is 0. Whatever moment I put on this side, 50% goes across 50% of the same sign. So 50% of this is W squared over 24. If you add those two, you have W squared over 8, but positive and not negative like the previous one. So how do they obtain all of these values? They obtain all of these values for each one of these cases. Equal and opposite, 50% across. 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 So you can build this table and you can also build any table as long as you understand that whenever you put an equal and opposite, 50% goes across. So this is just a clarification because some people ask me during the week. Now I'm going to go to moment distribution again. There's nothing easier than moment distribution. This is the problem that I started the other day. And please pay attention. And some people ask me several questions. This is page 4 or 18. This is the same problem that I was working last time. Look, this is fixed. There's a moment in here. This is fixed moment, and there are moments equal and opposite, B, A, and B, C. And in this problem, I for the girder is different than the I for the cone. So the stiffness of member AB is 4EI over 16. This comes from the previous method from the slope deflection. The stiffness of this member is also 4E, but 4EI, but I is 1.5 over L. So this method uses the same as the previous one. It uses fixed end moment. So for this load that is at the center, it's going to be PL over 8 on this side, PL over 8 on the opposite side. This is going to be negative, this is going to be positive. And this comes from the table. This is case 1, the very case at the top of this page. This is PL over 8, PL over 8, because the load is at the center. If the load is not at the center, they call it letter A and letter B. And just in case doesn't mean that A is larger than B. It's just they are showing it that way, but you never change. This is A always, and this is going to be B. No matter how small or how large, this is A and this is B. But the moment, whenever it's not on the center, you compute it by this. So PL over A. So this is P, and 16. So I done it in here. The one on the left-hand side is negative PL over A minus 40. The one on the right-hand side, PL over A, positive plus 40. These are the fixed end moment for member AB. Member BC, if you look at BC and I rotate this page, the one here on the left is similar to this one. That's why this is going to be negative and this is going to be positive. But also PL over A. I have computed it here from BC and CB. PL over A negative, PL over A positive. So you rotate to find the direction. We consider that according to the sign convention, all of this on the left, the one whenever you have a gravity load that is going down, all the moments on the left, they're gonna be kind of clockwise. All of these are negative. All the moments on the right, they're gonna be clockwise. But I had rotated, if that is your question, because whenever we had a column, whenever we had a column and the wind is blowing from right to left, this one on the top, and you, John, tell me, this one on the top is positive or negative? Negative. And the one is positive. Now I'm going to rotate the wind. The wind is funny, it comes now from this direction. The same case. Now the wind is coming from this direction, and this is a column. Is this, what is it, John? Is this positive or negative? Negative, right? So there's certain cases that for you to determine the sign, you might have to rotate the table. So it will be easy. But when you become familiar with the table, you just look at the load and you're gonna know which one is positive and which one. I mentioned last week, and I repeat it again. PL, this is the span because common mistakes in the exams, they use 6 instead of 12. PLL is this span. That's why here at the bottom, I have computed PL over A. 12 is the span 1. Negative, the one on the top. And so we compute the fixed end moment by using the table. And sometimes we had to combine several cases. Sometimes we had to rotate the page. Sometimes we had a case that is not in the table. We just build it based on the table. I'm going to show you later cases that are not in the table. A fixed end moment, the first computation. It is called moment distribution because it distributes the moment based on distribution factor. The distribution factor from A to B, since we had a wall at A is 0. The same as C. So what it means is that this fixed support at A and the fixed support at C, they do not return anything. Any moment that goes into here doesn't come back because they had an infinite amount of resistance to the moment. There is a question from Visual. Why do you treat joint B like a fixed support? Okay, please, somebody help me. Why do I treat joint B as a fixed support? Anybody? And he's talking about the moment that I'm computing. No, what it is, the fixed end moment. Always consider that the moments are fixed. And later they allow the rotation. If it's not fixed, they allow the rotation. So to compute the fixed end moment, we assume that everything is fixed. That's why, look, this A is fixed, C is fixed, but B is not fixed. B has a rotation. But to start the problem, to compute the fixed end moment, we always assume fixed. The same that we did for the previous method. We compute the moment called fixed end moment because assume that this is fixed and this is fixed. And later, we're going to allow the joint to rotate. Video, you understand that? Or okay. So remember, we assume like we did in the previous drawing, fixed to start. That's why we computed. We had to compute the fixed end moment from A to B, from B to A, from B to C, and C to B. We always compute the fixed end. I was saying that the fixed support, you can put an infinite amount of moment. So the distribution factor is always zero. It means that doesn't return anything that you put at that joint. That's why the distribution factor from A to B at the support is zero, the same as C. But at joint B, we're going to distribute the moment based on the stiffness of the joint. Since the joint has different stiffness, look, 4EI and 4E times 1.5I, 16 and 12, they're different stiffness. So how do we compute the distribution factor? If we look at this joint, two members, two distribution factor. The one for BA, the other one from BC. From BA is going to be the stiffness of this member divided by the stiffness of all the members framing into this joint. That means these two stiffness. And this is what I did in here. So from member BA is 0.33, from member BC, 1 minus the previous one. They always up to 1 because that means 100%. What we're doing in here is a proportion. So if one is 33%, the other is 67%. And after that, I asked you the other day to build this table with me. So this table, we put the joint A and member AB. Look, joint A have member AB. Joint B have member BA and BC. And joint C have member CB. You see, joint A have member AB. Joint B has two members, BA and BC. And joint C have only one member, CB. After that, we put distribution factor. AB fixed support 0, CB fixed support 0. And BA, we computed at 0.33 and BC 0.67. We have to be careful. I'm going to answer your question, Bishop. We have to be careful where we write it now. Okay. The stiffness, member AB, 4EI over 16. And the 4EI comes from this. whenever we did a slope deflection, whenever we did a slope deflection, we had a near end that is pinned, a far end that was fixed. And we had a moment in here. And we allowed this rotate. Theta A. And so we proved, and I gave you the computation, that this moment in here was equal to 4EI theta A over L. And this moment in here was equal to 2EI theta A over L. So this 4EI over L comes from here. That's the stiffness of the member. So whenever we had a near end that is pinned or end that is fixed, whatever we put in here, 50% goes across. So the carryover factor was equal to 1. Later, we're going to modify the stiffness. Later, we're going to do this. The near end is pinned, but the far end is also pinned, the end of a member. So there's still a theta A in here. But this moment is only 3EI theta A over L, and nothing goes to the opposite side because it cannot take it more. So whenever we modify the stiffness, we're going to use 3EI over L. Whenever we don't modify 4EI over L. So those are the numbers that we use. So the stiffness of this member is 4EI over L. The stiffness of this member is also 4EI over L because I'm not modifying the stiffness. Later, I'm going to use another problem, 3EI over L. Okay, anybody had another question about the 4EI? All right. So remember that the stiffness that comes from the previous one. So what we had to do, we built a table. And this table in here, we already had the distribution factors, and I was telling you, we had to be very careful not to reverse this. It has to be BA has to go in the PA. BC has to be in the BC. We cannot reverse this because we're gonna change the problem. These are the fixed moment, assuming that it's fixed minus 40 plus 40. I did a computation in here. Minus 40 plus 40, minus 2250 plus 2250. So this is the way we start the problem. We have to have distribution factor and we have to have fixed moment. The fixed support, they're always in equilibrium because you can put an infinite amount of moment in the fixed support. So A and C, they're always in equilibrium. Joint B right now is not in equilibrium because joint B, the moment that we have right now at B, and joint B right now, we have plus 40 minus 22.5. So right now, at joint B, we have a plus 40 and minus 22.5. To ask you a question, the summation of moments at any joint has to be equal to 0. So if you look at plus 40 minus 22.5, right now we had a plus 17.50. So the moment, look, right now, joint B is not in equilibrium because we had a plus 40 minus 22. Right now, we had a 17.5 moment at this joint. To put it in equilibrium, we need to put an equal and opposite minus to the joint. So 0. That means equilibrium, dimension moment. But I'm putting a 1750. So at this joint, I'm giving a minus 1750 to this joint, minus 1750. 33% you're going to come to this side because that is the distribution factor. How we distribute the stiffness, the stronger member receives more moment. The strongest member receives more moment stiffness. So we had in here 33% goes to here, 67 comes to here. Whatever moment I put in here, 50% goes to the opposite side because of the carryover factor. Whatever moment I put in here, 50% goes to the opposite side. And this is what we did the other day. So if you look at the notes, at joint B, right now we had a plus 1750 to put in equilibrium. That means summation of moments equal to 0. And we need to give a 1750. How do we distribute? Well, member BA get 33%, 5.78. Look, 5.70. Member BC gets 67%, 1173. Remember the sign, minus. Right? Whatever I put in here, the carryover factor take 50% across, minus 586. Whatever I put in here, the carryover factor take 50% across. And since the fixed support can resist an infinite amount of moment, there's nothing left. This is like when you balance the checkbook, there's nothing left to pay bill. That's it. So the problem is finished. We put a line in here. So we start with fixed moment, and this joint is not in equilibrium. We put an equal and opposite moment that was minus 1750. To this side came 33%. To this side came 67%. Whatever moment I put on this side, 50% goes to the opposite side. Whatever moment I put in here, 50% goes to the opposite side. Nothing comes back. So this is the end of the problem. We add all of this moment and gave me this. We had all of this moment and gave me that. We had all of this and gave me almost the same, 34.23, because I'm rounding off the number. So I make this equal to that, or I couldn't make that equal to that. It's just an approximation. So all of this is the end of the problem. We have solved an indeterminate structure by using one line, and the problem is finished. Questions about this? Sure. This is joint AB. Right? This is the wall. So here at the wall, we had two stiffnesses. We had a stiffness of this member, that is 4ER16, but we had, yes, I mean, Christina. So we had a stiffness of this member, that is 4ER16, and the stiffness of the wall, that is infinite. It's so stiff, it cannot be moved. So to compute the distribution factors of the support, AB for ER16 over the stiffnesses of all the member framing into this joint. This is member AB, this is the wall. So anything that you divide by infinite, 0. That's where the 0 comes. That's Moses. Is that? answer the question? Are you going to tell us when to use current factor or not? It's obvious. It's obvious when to use it. You're going to see the more problem that we saw. Okay, now, Christina. Christina, second, where the minus 289 comes from. So, Christina, I don't know if you have your calculator, but I'm going to do the computation for you. Look, we had in here joint A and B, there was an equilibrium. This joint B is not an equilibrium because if we had plus 40 minus 22.5, this gives us a moment, look, plus 40 at joint B minus 22.5, we had right now a positive moment of 1750. To put an equilibrium means summation of moments equal to 0. So if I had a plus 1750, I need to give to the entire joint an equal and opposite moment minus 1750. How do we distribute this? 33% of this moment, the negative comes to here. This is the value. Minus 17.50, 67% comes to here. This is the value. Whatever I put at this end, the carryover factor is 1/2, send it to the opposite. Whatever I put in BA, I had to multiply times 0.5, the carryover factor, send 50% across. And so, in other words, whatever moment I put in here, 50% goes to the opposite end, as long as this is a wall or can resist the moment. Whatever I put in here, 50% goes up. So where does that come from? From the previous method. The moment in here is 4 EI theta L. 50% of this moment goes across, is only 2 EI theta. So the carryover factor is 1/2. So whatever moment I put in here, this little arrow indicates that 50% goes to the opposite end. Whatever moment I put in here, 50% goes to the opposite. So we add all of these moments, and these are the final moments. So to work our free body, what we do from the original problem, I'm going to take free body AB. Free body AB from the original problem is going to have the load. A feet, and it's going to have, I'm going to call this AY and BY. But now I need a moment. I need a moment A, B, and the moment BA. So I come to this table. Look, AB 4289. So this moment is 42.89. And moment BA is 34.22. So from the table, we got 42.89 and 34.22. But what is important is the direction. Counterclockwise or clockwise? Look at this. Minus 42.89. Anybody? counterclockwise. And 3422 positive, what direction? The 3422 positive, what direction? Clockwise. Perfect. So this is what we had now. We need to plot the shear and the moment diagram. So this is going to be my shear, this is going to be my moment for indeterminate structure. So I need to find AY and BY. So to find AY, I'm going to say summation of moments about B equal. So we are back to chapter 1. We are back to what you've been doing since you took statics for the first time, when you took mechanical solids. When you took this course, we had computing reaction. So I'm going to do summation of moment at B equal to 0, and just for the equation, I'm assuming that that's the direction positive for my equation. You could assume the opposite direction of positive, the answer is exactly the same. But you have to consider all the forces. AY times 16. AY times 16. Because it's opposite to my assumption, go with a minus. Plus 42.89, because goes in the counterclockwise direction as indicated in here, minus 34.22 plus 20 times 8 equal to 0. Look, I have applied moments about this point. AY minus AY times the distance 16 plus 42.89 minus 34.20 plus 20 times 8 equal to 0. We find this reaction and we find that reaction, and so this is what I've done in the next page. So in the next page, I have put the moment like you told me, the moment I told you, I have computed this. Once I know this summation of forces in Y gave me the shear diagram is always easy, always very easy. So I had 1054 goes constant, it means the 20, 1054 minus 20, it goes to 946, it goes constant, 946 plus, so it's back to 0. So shear is always easy. 8432 in this area, 7568 that day. Just to make sure that I had not made a mistake, I'm going to assume that I don't know this moment. I know the moment. And by the way, before I do anything, for this moment, where is the compression, top or bottom? For this moment, where is the compression, top or bottom? And for this one, I'm going to pretend I didn't see that bottom, also the bottom. So I'm going to assume that I don't know it. The only value that I don't have is when the shear is equal to 0, the moment is going to be a maximum. So I'm going to use my shear diagram. My shear diagram, look, I start with 4289. 4289, that is minus because it goes at the bottom, plus 8432 gave me 4143. Plus 4143 minus 7568, it gave me 3425. I was expecting 3422. A little bit of the difference because of running off, but if there is too much of the difference, it's something wrong with the computation of this reaction. You have to go back. I did the same for this member, look, for the column. The column is member BC. I'm going to put this 15 and the moment that I found. BC minus 3422, CB 1664. You look at the column here, we had B, C, minus 3422, counterclockwise. CB 1664, clockwise, I put it in here. I computed the reaction the same way that we did it before. These are the moments that come from the table. Apply moment about this point, I solve for this. I measure force in X, I solve. I did my shear diagram. Go from 0 to 897 constant, minus 15, it goes to 603, close it back to 0. This in here, 5382. Look at this moment, 3425. Where does this moment go? To the left or to the right? Anybody look? Look at where's the compression, left or right? Left. I put it in here. So this is a minus 3422 because at the bottom, plus 5382 because on the top gave me 1960. Plus 1960 minus 3618 because at the bottom, it gave me 16.58 and expecting 16.64, almost the same. But this is the way we solve indeterminate structure. Only one line in this table. And what we do it in here, we balance in this joint. What we do it in here, whenever we put a moment, we rotating the joint. We rotating the joint the same way that we have before. We get into theta B. A different way, we rotate it by using a moment. So here we close to theta B. And this is the end of the problem. And here are our moment. Any question about this problem? Is there a faster way to plot N diagram without B diagram? Okay. Why anybody in the class, no? This is a very important question that comes from Wang. He said, is there a faster way to plot the moment out without the shear diagram? Anybody? Tell me, why do I need a shear diagram? Got a section, more or less. Why it's important to know? Because there's some homework problem that require no. Why is important to know the shear diagram? No. Look, what were you told by Patricio or anybody when you took in Shafiq, when you took static? What happened? What happened when the shear is zero? When the shear is zero, what happened? The moment is a max. We need to know where the shear is equal to zero. You can write equations and do the same, but with the shear diagram, it's fast. But the only reason is because when the shear is zero, the moment is maximum. And whenever you do a design, remember, we had designed for the maximum negative and maximum positive. Because one means the bottom of my beam, the other one the top of the beam. You're going to be taking reinforced concrete next semester. You need to know where the tension is. And whenever we had a tension, we're going to put the rebar. because concrete is a material beautiful for compression, as you already know from the testing that you have done in the materials lab. Concrete, very strong in compression, very weak on tension. About 10% of the compressive strength is the tensile strength of concrete. So next semester, when you design concrete, whenever you have tension, you're gonna put the rebar. If this were a beam on this side, where is the tension on this side of the beam? Top or bottom? Where is the tension on the beam? Top or bottom? In here. Anybody? Top. Opposite to compression. Where is the tension here? Top or bottom? In here. Bottom. And in here on the top. So the rebar from the top goes to the bottom. And that's the way we do the rebar. Any question about this problem before I go to the next one? Okay. I'm going to go to the next problem. And if you have additional questions, just stop me and ask me later, and I will answer your question. This is page 8 of the note. So for this problem, EI is constant. Span AB, 30 feet. Span BC, 30 feet. Span CD, also 30 feet. Uniform load from span A, B, and C, the two spans 2.4 kPa. There is a point load here, or concentrated load, in the middle. And there is a point load here closer to the left support than to the right support. So I want you to look at this problem very carefully. I have no idea how big or small you can see this in your screen. I know that some of you are in bed right now using your iPhone and looking at this, and some of you probably already watching TV with one eye, the other eye this, and your computer. But look, I don't know how big this is. Almost the biggest size that I can. Now my question to you: when I finish all of this, do I have a moment? Am I going to find a moment at this wall? Yes or no? When I finish doing all my computation in 30 minutes. Okay. So there's not going to be a moment at the wall? Definitely going to be a moment at the wall, because that's what the wall does. But now a question for everybody. When I finish, this is a roller. Am I going to have this moment DA? Yes. And a moment BC, because this is a continuous member that is going to deflect like that. So there's going to be a moment BA and BC, equal and opposite. There's going to be a moment CB and CD. And there's going to be a moment at the wall DC. So, and look, we have to determine the stiffness of this member. I'm going to write the stiffness for member AB. The stiffness of this member is 4EI over 30. 4EI over L is the stiffness of member AB, because both sides can take a moment. The stiffness of here is also 4EI over 30, because this side and this side can take a moment. And the same in here, the stiffness is going to be 4EI over 30. So I'm going to use this value later to compute distribution factor based on your past experience of one problem. What is going to be the distribution factor at this wall? When I had this member and the wall, what is going to be the distribution factor in here? 0. And look in here, we had two members framing into this joint. One is 4EI/30, the other one is also 4EI/30. When I find the distribution factor from B to A, I'm going to have this divided by both of them. What is going to be the distribution factor of this side? If I had this divided by these two, what is going to be the value of the distribution factor? Again, I had this number divided by the summation of this number and that number. What is it going to be? If these two numbers are the same, it's going to be 4EI/30 over the summation of these two. What is going to be the distribution factor? Anybody? .5. Because if I divided this by 2 times this value, it's going to be 0.5 and 0.5. I'm going to do it for you. What about the distribution factor from C to B? It's going to be 4EI/30 divided by 2. What is going to be here? Okay. This is a good question from my friend Kwong. He's saying that we had to divide by all three of them. How many members are framing into this joint? Look, how many members are framing into this joint? Kwong. How many members are? Two. So we had these two still. How many members are framing into this joint? Again, how many members? 2. Now I'm going to show you something else. First question, is this a determinate or indeterminate structure? Indeterminate. 3 plus 3, 6, 8 minus 3, 5th degree determinate. How many members do I have framing into this joint? I know you already got it. How many members? So I had to have 3 distribution factors. 1 in here, 1 in here, 1 in here. I'm going to change the problem. How many members I have in here? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 distribution factors. That's a good question. Good. Go back to this. Look, it's very difficult to pay attention. Even when we are face to face, you're on your phone, Tinder, or buying a new phone. You're always, paying attention. But you have to pay attention for this because your life will depend on the final exam. This is indeterminate. 3 and 3, 6, 7, 8 unknown, minus 3, 5th degree indeterminate. We're going to have moments. This is a continuous beam. So moments at this end, moment at this end, moment at here, moment in here, moment everywhere. That's what we use for EI. Look, this is a uniform. We have to compute the fixed end moment. So in order to solve the problem, we have to compute the fixed end moment. For member AB, fixed, uniform, W squared over 12, W squared over 12. So this is what I done in here. Remember AB, fixed end moment from A to B, W L squared over 12, minus because the one on the left is negative. From B to A plus the same number, WL squared over 12 minus 180 plus 108. BC, we had uniform load and we had a point load in the middle. So the moment on this side is going to be W squared over 12 plus PL over 8. So W squared over 8 and PL over 8. The same is going to happen in here. W squared over 12 and PL over 8. Why PL over 8? Because the load is exactly in the middle. So we're going to combine this value with this value in here. And this value with that value in there. Both of them go in the same direction. Gravity load going down. So this is what I've done here. BC, W squared over 12, PL over 8 minus 250. For CB, it's going to be W squared over 12 plus PL positive 255. I didn't write it because they are the same. This is the one that is confusing. Because the load is not in the middle. The load is close to C than to D. Which moment is going to be larger? CD or DC? Anybody guess? Anybody else guess? Look, the closer that you are to the support, this moment is going to be larger than this one. So whenever you do your computation, before you do the computation, this moment, fixed moment, has to be larger than this one. Because most of the load is going to go to this support. So this is what we're going to use. They call this A. No matter how small or how large, it's always letter A. This is letter B. The moment on this side, PB squared A over L squared. The moment in here is P A squared B over. So the only thing that changes at one time, this is squared, the other time this is squared. So this is what I've done in here. From C to D, 60 times 10, 20 squared over L squared, minus 266, negative. From D to C, 60 times A squared times B over L squared, 1/3. So the closer you are to the support, the moment is going to be the larger. So we have computed all the fixed and moment. So we always assume fix, and compute the fixed and moment. Any question up to this point? I need a distribution factor. Right? So I put in here A, B, and DF 0 because they're fixed. And in the next page, look, join B. Join B is this one. Two members, two stiffnesses, 4EI over 30, or the summation of those two. What I've done in here. 4EI over L, or the summation of both of them, 0.5. Knew that because I asked you before. And the other one is going to be 1 minus the other 1.5. Somebody had a microphone on, please turn it off. You can turn it on later. I join C. Join C, we had two members, CB and CD. 4EI over 30, or the summation of 4EI over 30 plus the same 4EI over 30. So join C, the same. 40 over 30 over twice, 0.5 and 0.5. My table is going to have join A with member AB. Join B, BA and BC. Join C, CB and CD. And join D, you're going to have DC. So this is what I have done in here. At the bottom of the page, and this is page 9. So you had join A, have member AB, join B have BA and BC, join C has CB and CD, and join D, DC. Distribution factors for the fixed support, 0. For the fixed support, 0. We already computed the distribution factor from B to A and B to C. It came at 0.5 and 0.5. We also computed from C to B and CD 0.5. Now we need to write the fixed end moment. The fixed end moment, they are computed in here. AB minus 180, BA plus 180. So this is W squared over 12, W squared over 12, minus 180 plus 180. The next fixed end moment, BC and CB. BC and CB, they are computed in here. Minus 255 plus 255. And finally, I had to put the moment C, D, and DC. They are in here. 266, 67. Plus 133.33. So this is the beginning of the problem. Anybody has any question where these numbers are coming from? Negative, positive, negative, positive. Anybody, any question about the fixed end moment? So join A is always an equilibrium. We call it a taker. Stay, never return anything. Join D also. Join B and join C, they are not in equilibrium. If you look at these two joins, join B and join C, they are not in equilibrium. Why? Why am I saying that? What I'm saying that joint B is not in equilibrium. Anybody? Why I'm saying that this joint is not in equilibrium and this joint is not in equilibrium? Anybody? Because if you consider this moment plus 180 minus 255, they do not make 0. Like somebody said in there, this and this give me minus 75. I need to put to this member equal and opposite plus 75. 50% comes to this side, 50% comes to this side, and I need to send 50% across, 50% across, and 50% across. So this is what I've done in here. So remember, this is not in equilibrium. And the question is always, which joint which joint do I start first? You can start a joint B or joint C. Sometimes it may not different. Sometimes if you select one of them, it goes very fast to the end. In reality, in here, look, there's not too much of a difference the moment in here. Here, larger difference. I'm going to consider joint B. And this is what I'm going to do. Like somebody else, I think that was, we have plus 180 minus 255 at that joint right now. At joint B, plus 180 minus 255. So I have right now minus 75. It's not balance. It's not an equilibrium. I need to balance. I need to put an equilibrium to the entire joint. I give 75. So this 75, 50% goes to member BA because the distribution factor is 0.5. 50% goes to BC because the distribution factor is 0.5. 50% of plus 75 is plus 37.5. 50% of this is plus 13. 50% goes to the opposite end because it's the carryover factor. Take 50% to the opposite end. And that is 1875. Look, plus 75, 50% is 37.5. 37.5. Plus 75, 50%, 37.5. This line means equilibrium. This line means that I have balanced my joint. Whatever I put in here, the carry-over factor kicks 50% to the opposite end. 50% of this value is 1875, 1875. So physically, this joint, I'm putting equilibrium, I'm giving a moment in here. 50% goes to the opposite end because of the carryover. Whatever moment I put in here, 50% goes to the opposite side because of the carryover. So this is what I have right now. %50 of 75, I put it in here, 50% goes across. 50% of 75, I put it here, 50% goes across, or the same sign. So this is a plus, and this is a plus. Joint A is the equilibrium. Joint D in equilibrium. This is not in equilibrium because if you look at what I have right now, I'm going to call this joint C. What we have right now is plus 255 minus 266.67 plus 18.75. So this is what we have right now at the job. So if we add everything, look, 255, 266.67 that is negative, 18.75 that is positive. Check my number. Is that correct? Check. So, correct. Okay. So right now, this joint in here, joint C, is not in equilibrium, had all of this moment. Summation 1 has to be equal to 0. So I had come down here and add all of this moment. 255 came from here. 266 came from here. 18 from here. To put in equilibrium to have summation of moment equal to 0, I need to put a minus 7.08. That means equilibrium. Right now, with that, summation of moment equal to 0. So this 50% and 50%, 50% is going to come to this side, to this member, and 50% to. Why? Why is that? Why 50%? Distribution factor, 0.5. Distribution factor is like payday. How much they're going to pay you? You did 50% of the work, your body did 50% of the work. Each one get 50% of the money. Today, it's pretty small money. Minus 3.54 minus 3.54. So to this joint, you're going to go minus 3.54 minus 3.54 because of the distributive factor. And that line in here, this line in here means equilibrium. But since I'm putting moment in here, I need to send 50% to the opposite side and 50% to the opposite side. So whatever moment I put in here, the carryover factor takes 50% across. And so 50% of that is 1.77. And what we're doing, we're going through cycles. Every time that we do a distribution, there's very little moment left. It's like when you pay your bills, all of a sudden there's no money. We're going to get to this point. This joint is always in equilibrium. Right now, the only joint that is not in equilibrium is joint B. The fixed support is always in equilibrium. Fixed support always. This is in equilibrium. We had a small moment, minus 1.77. Minus 1.77 is only on this side. To this joint, I need to give a plus 1.77. 50% comes to here, 50% comes to here. So this is going to be a plus and plus. And so when you multiply that, it gives you 0.885. I'm going to call it, so this gives you 0.885. I'm going to call it 0.89. And we can do that because this is an approximate method. You round that up or down. Means equilibrium. Whatever I put in here, 50% goes across. And I'm going to write 0.44. If you multiply 0.44 times 2 is 0.88. But this is an approximation, so we can do that if we want. This joint is already in equilibrium. This is always in equilibrium, and this is always in equilibrium. Look, 0.44 is a ridiculous moment, but I want to go to 0.5 and stop. So this joint has plus 0.44. I'm going to put minus 0.44 and distribute it. So this is going to be minus 0.22 minus 0.22. Where do I get a 0.22 and a 0.22 in here? Anybody? Where do I get a 0.22, 0.22 negative? Everybody left? Nobody's in the room. Nobody? Anybody? 50%. because of this, only because of 0.5, 0.5, 0.44 positive, minus 0.22, minus 0.22. We don't need a calculator. Look, minus 0.11, minus 0.11. Since this is an approximation, I'm going to throw this away. I'm going to say, I don't want to continue. The numbers are too small. So I'm going to put a line. I'm going to put a line in here. And this is going to be my final moment. We're going to add all of this, put it in here. All of this, we don't have to consider this, put it in here, all of that, and put it in there. And that is going to give us the moment that we're going to put. I'm going to stop here because I took too much of your time. You really need to learn this because it's going to save your life. It uses fixed end moment from the table. It uses distribution factor. And after that, we need to put each one of these joints in equilibrium. The fixed support always takes moment. These supports in between, whatever they get, they send 50% across because it is the carrier factor. It happens by accident that the distribution factor of 0.5 in here, but it could be any number. But whatever you put in here, 50% goes across, 50%. So we're going to continue on Monday. Make sure that you understand what we're doing because it's very important. Okay. Any question before I start? How do you know what moment might do is negligible? Oh, we're gonna throw whenever we get because I want to have the same answer. Whenever we get to point one, we're gonna stop. Not 0.5. Point one, we're gonna stop. I here stop because I'm tired. But I don't want to continue. But well, 0.11, almost point one. Point one, we're going to stop. We don't want to go to zero because this is an approximate, but it's very good approximation. You put in the computer this, it becomes almost the same. Any other question? Is that all the time? What all the time? For all the cases? Yeah, I want you to stop at point one. Yeah, any case, always point one. Any other question? Okay, well, I'll be available for consultation. You just let me know and just enjoy for today's Monday. Enjoy your Tuesday. But see you on Wednesday. Okay. And somebody had a question, so I'm going to put my papers in order. I'm going to stay here.